And for all you Alabama fans, man, aren't you glad that we're sinners saved by grace, huh? Well, I know that y'all are outstanding and you'll probably want to mingle, so I'm not going to talk long. I'll just share, a quick testimony, a little bit about what I'm doing and what I've done in college and kind of what my plans are. Actually, a few days ago, we just launched the Tim Tebow Foundation.org, and in that, there are four main things. The first thing is a nonprofit called First and 15 is what we're doing locally in the state of Florida, just making a difference in young people's lives. Last year, we were able to raise over $500,000 for orphanages around the world and trying to make a difference in their life. The second thing is A Brighter Day. It's something else that we started that is one of my favorites, and that's where we take kids all around the world and we take them to Disney World. We take them to do fun things. We just make a difference in their life. And we don't say, we didn't have a title like Dreams Come True, because we can't make the dreams come true for the kids. We can give them a brighter day and we can put a smile on their faces. And so that's the second thing that we're doing. And then the last two things are very special to me is, the third thing is the Uncle Dick's Home, an orphanage in the Philippines that I'm working hand in hand with to try to help those kids just in everything they do. And then the fourth thing is what I want to share a little bit about, and that's my prison ministry. And that's something that's very near and dear to my heart. The first time that I ever was in a prison was when I was 15 years old, and my brother Peter, who's here today, was preaching in this prison. And we were in the Philippines, and you walk in this prison, and literally the warden was telling us, there's everybody here. There's the biggest drug dealers. There's murderers. There's rapists. There's everybody in here. And there in the Philippines is a lot different than the prison site. Here, you just walk in, and you're in the middle of the prison, and all the inmates are just standing there with you. And they're just shaking your hands and just talking to you. And so we're just sitting there. I'm listening to my brother preach, and he's preaching about how Jesus, y'all think y'all are so bad, and the world says y'all are awful. Well, Jesus didn't even die for you. He died for me. Because there's enough sin in my life and in my heart that Jesus died for me. And I was thinking, wow, it was powerful. And from that point on, I've been sold about doing prison ministry. And from that point on, I've probably preached in 20 prisons, a lot in the state of Florida over the last 3 years. I've actually had the opportunity to preach in death row. And this summer, I preached in 2 death rows, and it took me 2 days because I went, to each guy's, stall, and I went in the first one, and there were 342 guys, and I went one by one and talked to all of them. And most of them they didn't want to hear. I even got to some of them. They said, I'm too busy. I'm too busy to listen to you. They're in death row, but they're too busy to listen to me. Most of them, they would have some excuse of why they couldn't, or they would try to intimidate me somehow. But out of those 342, 2 of them came to know Jesus as their Lord and Savior. And so it did make a difference. A lot of you probably know me as a football player and someone who gets very intense and very passionate about what I do and playing football on the field. If you've ever been with me in a prison, you know that it's 10 times more. I'm so passionate about sharing in prisons and sharing with inmates. And I think that's something that God has given me. And that's because I can translate that from the football field. When I walk into a prison, all these inmates and all these people that they would recognize themselves as hard. They're hard guys. My dad or a lot of other people can go in there, chaplains, and they don't listen to them. They don't care. That's another preacher coming in here to share with them. But when I walk in there, there's that football player. There's that runner, that hard dude. He's coming in here to preach with them. He's coming in here to share with me. So they all get around, and you hear the guys, they're bickering and stuff, and the Florida fans and the Florida State fans and the Miami fans and the Tennessee fans. But by the end of it, there's either a fight, there's an argument, the guards have to break it up because that's how much they care about it. And so then they have a choice to come listen to you if you want, because you're just in the yard preaching to them. And so, most of the time, all of them come, at least 90%. And they'll sit there, and the guys who really care, they'll make the rest of the guys, they'll be like, stop doing push-ups, stop playing basketball, come over here and listen to them. And so they'll all sit there and they'll listen to me. And I have an opportunity to share my faith with these guys just because I play the game of football. And I believe that's why Jesus has given me the platform to play football. And that's what I want to do with the rest of my life, is not play football. Football is a means to an end for me. But sharing the love of Christ, that is the end. That is what it's all about. So you can share with these inmates about how, I have what a lot of you want. I do. I have what you want. famous. There's people that like me. I'm going to be able to make money. I have success, 2 national championships and a Heisman. You want that. But what you want more than that is you want to know when you die that you're going to spend eternity in heaven, and you don't know that right now. You say, you might be in here the rest of your life. You might be in prison for the rest of your life. But I'm going to tell you how you can be free inside. Because your time here on earth is very, very short. Your time in eternity is forever. Do you know where you're spending eternity? And you'll just see those inmates who they wouldn't even want to talk about anything like that. But then after you say that to them, they'll start crying, they'll start weeping, because they know they're spending the rest of their life in prison. And they want to know how they can have hope. So we have found so much more success in people coming to know the Lord in prison than any time I've ever spoken out of prison. Because they're ready and they're needy of a Savior. They're needing a reason to have hope. And that's why something like Prison Fellowship is unbelievable. Because it's giving guys that are ready the opportunity to trust Christ. It's putting that in front of them. And they're people that need hope. They're people that need something in life. Because they have nothing. They absolutely have nothing. But they can find everything when they find a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's why I'm so thankful for you in here. That you're not ashamed of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And you're willing to put your name on the line and making a difference in these people's lives because it's worth it. Every time it's worth it. Jesus' word will not return void. It never does. Especially in prison. And that is my heart, and that is my passion, is making a difference in prisons, going around the world in prisons. And my favorite is speaking in death row, because those guys absolutely have no hope. So my goal for you and for me is that you'll pray with me. You'll pray for me to make a difference around the world, in prisons and with young people all over the world, that I could be the role model to them that Danny Werfel was to me. And thank you for not being ashamed. I appreciate it. Go Gators and God bless. Thank you.